So the show opened with a giant surprise for everybody. Wasn't a surprise for me though, because people like to spoil shows for me, and I got a Facebook message on Sunday when everyone knows that I don't even watch Game of Thrones until Monday, saying, oh, the Hound is alive. Don't do those things. You can put them on your own Facebook. Don't message me with it. That is very rude. Found out he's just chopping wood. You just see his feet, right? Just his feet, and then it goes up. And then you're like, wow, this guy is rather large. I wonder who it is. I was like, oh, it's the Hound. Apparently he's alive. But everyone else was probably like, whoa, who is this guy? He's so big. And then it shows his burned face. It was like, oh my gosh, it's the Hound. It's seriously Clegane. It's so exciting. And he was like chopping. And then he goes, and the guy's like, you were almost dead when I saw you. Who apparently, this guy is a famous actor.
Who stole the...
I already forgot his name again. But he's a famous actor, and people were really mad that he died, but this is Game of Thrones, and everybody dies. I'm sorry that you were mad that a character who was in it for 20 minutes died. I don't know what show you think you're watching. So we saw Arya at the end of the episode this week, and she, at first, it looked like, oh, okay, so she's doing kind of well for herself, right? She's got like, hey, get me on this ship. And he was like, no. And she was like, boom, money. And then he was like, oh, well, you can like sit here in this crappy spot. And she was like, boom, money. And we're gonna leave tomorrow, and I want my own cabin, and I want this. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, then she walks away. She decides to take a brief break by the water, and then this mysterious lady comes up to her, who Arya is totally trusting of for some reason.
Sweet girl.
It turns out that the lady is the waif, and she was just like, stab, 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 twist. She jumped over the bridge into the water, and all of her blood was coming out, and the waif was like, yep, she is dead. And Arya went under the bridge and then climbed up, and then the last time we see her, she is left for dead, ready to die. But I don't think that she's going to die. I don't think Arya's dying anytime soon. Not today. Not today, death, says Arya. Seen some interesting theories about Arya. What if the waif is actually like part of Arya? Because the waif only ever like gets talked to by Jaqen and Arya, so maybe she's a part of Arya that's gonna become no one, and Arya actually is gonna become no one, but the thing that like her last task is to kill Arya Stark. So also, Jaime went and helped, Jaime Lannister, not to be confused with other Jaimes, went to help the siege with the Blackfish and all of his people and his castle. When he got there, like they always knew that the people who were trying to put a siege on the castle were not doing a good job, but then he got there and he was like, you just let so many thousand men just walk up behind you and you didn't even notice.
You just allowed 8,000 men to approach unchallenged.
And then they were like, who are you to tell us what to do? And Jaime was like, well, I'm gonna win this siege for you. Also, don't make threats you're not willing to keep. If you don't shut your mouth, I'm gonna hit you. And he was like, what? Whap, hit, done.
I don't give a rap.
Also, Jaime, he keeps his threats like hitting people, but apparently he doesn't keep all of his promises because Bronn is still there just standing next to him. When he promised him like a castle and he promised him a bunch of land, still hasn't happened. He keeps asking about it and Jaime's just like, shh, you know, it'll happen in a little bit when it happens.
A Lannister always
Don't
pays...
say it. Don't say it.
Also, then he went to see the Blackfish and he was like, hi, like, can we talk about this? Just let us win, please. And the Blackfish was like, no, you cannot just win here. We have enough stuff for 2 years. Are you gonna wait for 2 years? And Jamie was like, what? No. And then the Blackfish was like, well, then just come and attack us then, if you want to. And Jamie was like, well, obviously you didn't even want to talk, so why are you talking to me? And the Blackfish was like, well, because I just wanted to see you.
Light, the heat, I am complete. See the doorway, 1,000 churches, resolution.
That's where Jamie is right now, and that's where the Blackfish is right now. And I think they're probably going to be there for a little while, probably still next week. I've heard the theory that Cersei Lannister has to go on trial, and she's gonna have a trial by combat, and she's gonna use the Mountain. Turns out the Mountain's brother is alive. He's religious now too. Well, kind of religious now. People are saying that the Hound is gonna fight for the Faith Militant, and the Mountain is gonna fight for Cersei, and then it will be a fair fight. And I think Cersei's kind of marked for death this season anyway. That's why I've been saying that I think that she and the Tyrell grandma are gonna go against each other. I just have a feeling Cersei's gonna die. So maybe that's how she's gonna die.
So are you guys watching Game of Thrones?
Who isn't?
So who's king? Is it Joffrey?
It just started. So good.
Are you guys watching Mad Men this season?
Stop.
Dawn with Meg and her
I
babe.
had no idea.
What do you guys think of the new season of Dexter?
Michael C. Hall in the van.
Spoiler alert.
Don't spoil it.
Speaking of people who like to spoil things, you know who else likes to spoil things, especially about the Hound? I don't know why he's so popular to spoil, is that guy, that famous actor guy who everybody loves.
I'd say $1,500 is the target. I'm in for 5.
500.
2. You kidding me, EB?
150.
Turns out he was like, oh, you know what my job is on Game of Thrones? And everyone was like, what? And he was like, oh, well, I get to nurse back to health a character who everyone thinks is dead.
I bring back a much-loved character everybody think is dead, so I'll leave it at that.
Oh, that's a bit of a clue.
Everyone had been talking about maybe the Hound will come back anyway. Who else could it be? Come on, guy. Predictions. Well, first of all, I want to say that I really like the little girl.
I was his steward. In fact,
I think we've had enough small talk. Why are you here?
Leader of the Mormonts. She's pretty cool. I think that next week there might be a battle because they have done a lot of big 8th episodes of seasons. Next week is the 8th episode. They're setting up for a big showdown at the Blackfish's house. They're setting up for a big battle with Jon Snow and Sansa Stark because she wrote that letter. Who is she writing that letter to? I don't know. Maybe she's trying to fight someone.
We need more men.
there's no time.
If we went down to Castle Coven, I know that Lord Coven...
We fight with the army we have.
Okay, that's all from me today. I'm out.